Doing a quick comparison here between a Ktm 200Exc and 300Exc. On the left is my 2000 300Exc. On the right is my 2001 200Exc. Now you'd think they're pretty much the same bike with a bigger piston, but they're not. They're totally different bikes. They really don't share that many parts. The 300 has a bigger chassis. Well, with that being said, the advantage of the 200 is definitely the lightweight. It's definitely the better tight woods bike. It's much more tossable. 20-30 pounds is 20-30 pounds. It makes a big difference. The 300, the main advantage is the the tractor-like engine, just the torque monster. That thing's just incredible. Man, I love riding this thing. This is definitely the torquiest two-stroke I think I've ever ridden. Well, maybe a 600DXC, but that bike was hard to start. I love this bike. You can just lug this thing down to just about idle in second gear and crack the throttle and it goes. But it's tall and it's heavy. The 200 is quite a bit more maneuverable in the tight stuff. This thing, it just runs like a rape tape, man. This thing screams. I haven't done any tuning on either bike. I think maybe the power valves are set differently on the two bikes. The 200 has no bottom end. Runs real raggedy down on the bottom. No power, a little bit of hesitation until you get it up into the mid-range. From the mid to top, this thing, man, this thing just screams, but there's no bottom end. My 200 is actually street legal. I have a title and everything. So this is a tough decision for me because I really can only keep one of them due to space restrictions. When you want to go fast, the 200 is actually the bike to do it on. This thing screams, and it's just a tight woods weapon. When you want to do some lower speed technical riding, there's just nothing that beats this 300EXC. But when you get in the tight stuff, it's heavier, so it's advantage and a disadvantage. You got the torque, but you have so much more weight. And 20-30 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to really notice the difference. I don't know if you can just tell by looking, but yeah, it's definitely a bigger chassis. This one's not street legal. I have paperwork to possibly get it street legal. So probably what I'll do is see whether or not I can get the 300 street legal before I decide which one to keep for sure. They're both fantastic bikes, just a load of fun. The 300 is just all about bottom end, and it still gets on the pipe, don't get me wrong, it still has top end. But coming off idle in second gear, it's just incredible how much torque this thing has. It's so much fun to ride when you get in the technical stuff. But the seat's a couple inches higher. It's got more weight up high. The 200 is definitely a better chassis in the woods and the tight stuff. But the engine for me, you know, and that's probably the way the power valves are set, you know, with the different springs you can change out and stuff. This thing's too explosive in the tight woods because it doesn't have anything down in the bottom. It doesn't even come alive till mid-range. But from mid-range to high on the pipe, man, this thing just screams. This engine is just explosive. So they're both fun in their own ways. I kind of prefer the 300, but I really like the weight of the 200. And on the top end, surprisingly, they're actually both pretty close to being the same. There's not a, you know, a 100% increase in power when you go from the 200 to the 300. A lot of people might think that 200 is like, oh, that's like a intermediate bike for a kid or something, you know, bigger than a 125 but smaller than a 250. No, the 200 rips. It revs so fast and so hard from mid to high. It's just amazing. The 300, love riding this thing. Never have I had a two-stroke with that much bottom end. It's just a tractor down low. So I'd say the 200 is better if you want to go fast And the 300 is actually better if you want to go slower. And that seems opposite, but that's certainly my observation on the two. Thanks for watching.